Alright, today we're going to be looking at how to factor quadratics in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c when a is equal to 1. So in other words, it's going to look like this. It's going to look like x squared plus bx plus c. There's not going to be a coefficient, a number in front of the x because the a value is 1. So it's going to look like this, x squared plus bx plus c. Steps. Write it in standard form, of course. Factor out the GCF other than 1. If the first term is negative, factor out a negative number. So all of that is the same. For the third step, we're going to multiply the a value and the c value. Alright, remember the a value is 1. So really what we're just looking for the third step is the c value. Alright. However, let's keep this in mind that we're multiplying the a value and the c value because it does come in handy for later. So we multiply the a value and the c value. Then we find two numbers that multiply to a times c and whose sum is b, which means they add to the b value. So we're looking for two numbers, m and n, where m times n is the same as a times c, and m plus n is equal to b. And then we will factor by grouping, but when a is 1, we can skip this factor by grouping step, and our factors will be in the form of, once we find this m and n numbers, the m and n, our factors will be in the form of x plus m will be our first factor, x plus n will be our second factor, and that will be the factored form. So if we can find this m and n, then we can find the two factors of x squared plus bx plus c. And then of course we check using the distributive property. Alright, so let's look at the first one, x squared plus 9x plus 20. Alright, so here's how I keep track of my numbers. I use an x, because first what I'm going to put in the top of the x is a times c. In the bottom of the x, I'm going to put b. So in this case, a is 1, b is 9, and c is 20. Of course, do check for the GCF. Okay, the GCF here is 1, so we don't need to factor out the GCF. The GCF is 1. Alright, so a times c would go up here. It's 1 times 20, so up here is 20. And the bottom, b, would be 9. Alright, well what I'm looking for now is I'm looking for the two numbers m and n, that multiply to give me a times c, and they add to give me b. So I need two numbers that multiply to give me 20 and add to give me 9. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to think of all the numbers that multiply to give me 20. 1 times 20, 2 times 10, 3 does not go into 20, but 4 does. 4 goes in 5 times. And that's it. So I'm going to think, can any combination of these numbers, of each one of these options, add up to 9? And I can see that these two will add up to 9. 4 times 5 is 20, and 4 plus 5 is 9. So over here I'm going to put positive 4, and over here I'm going to put positive 5. This will be my m, and this will be my n. Alright, well when a is 1, like it is in problem 1, then I can just have my two factors, x plus m and x plus n. Okay, so my first factor for number 1 would be x plus 4, bx plus 4, this number. My second factor would be x plus 5. And that would be the factored form of number 1. X plus 4, x plus 5. Let's check. X plus 4 times x plus 5. Let's use the distributive property to check this. X times x is x squared. X times 5 is 5x. Four times x is 4x, and 4 times 5 is 20. And when we combine like terms, we get x squared plus 9x plus 20, which is what I started with. So I can be 100% sure that the factors are x plus 4 times x plus 5. Alright, number 2. The GCF of number 2 is 1, so I don't have to do anything special here. The A is 1, the B is -7, and the C is 12. So up top is going to be A times C, down the bottom will be B, over here will be M and N. This is multiply, this is sum. So up top is A times C, which is 1 times 12, so this is 12. And the bottom is B, which is -7. Alright, so now I'm looking for numbers that multiply to 12 and add to -7. Multiply to positive 12, add to -7. So I've got 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4, 5, 6, I think that's it. However, none of those add up to 7, or -7. This one's close, and it adds up to positive 7. So what I also need is I need to make them both negative, because -3 times -4 is positive 12. But -3 plus -4 is -7. So those are the two numbers I'm looking at, -3 and -4. Alright, well now I can write my two factors. I can write my two factors. My first factor is x minus 3. And my second factor is x minus 4. It's always going to be in this form, x plus m, x plus n. So x minus 3, x minus 4. And this would be the factored form for number 2. Now, of course, I can check this using the distributive property. So I'm going to check x minus 3, x minus 4. X times x is x squared, x times -4 is -4x. -3 times x is -3x, -3 times -4 is positive 12. Combine the like terms, x squared minus 7x plus 12. And that's correct. So I can be 100% certain that my correct factorization is x minus 3, x minus 4. Number 3, check the GCF. GCF is 1. Is it in standard form? It's in standard form. So let's go to the cross. A is 1, B is 3, C is -18. Up top is A times C, so 1 times -18, so I got -18 up here. And the bottom is B, so this is positive 3. So I'm looking for two numbers that multiply to -18 and add to positive 3. So what numbers multiply to -18? Well, I got -1 and 18, -2 and 9, -3 and 6. I think that's it. I also have positive 1 and -18. I also have positive 2 and -9, positive 3 and -6. Well, we can see right here, this is the one I'm looking for. It multiplies to -18, but these add to positive 3, because -3 plus 6 is positive 3. But -3 here, positive 6 here. So that's going to tell me my factors are x minus 3 is my first factor, x plus 6 is my second factor. So this would be my factored form for number 3. Number 4, GCF is 1, so I don't have to factor it out. It's in standard form. A is 1, B is -1, C is -30. So up top is A times C, so it's -30. And the bottom is B, so it's -1. Looking for two numbers, multiply into -30, add to -1. So let me go through all the numbers that multiply into -30. I got -1 times 30, -2 times 15, -3 times 10, -5 times 6. Alright, none of these add up to -1. This one's close. It adds up to +1. Let me try switching the signs. So instead of -5 and 6, let me do -6 and 5. Well, now they multiply to -30 and they add to -1. So these are the ones I'm looking for, -6 and +5. So my two factors, x minus 6, x plus 5. Number 5. This one starts with a negative, which means we need to factor out a negative GCF, and the GCF is 1. So we're going to have to factor out a -1. So when we factor out a -1, we're left with x squared minus 4x minus 12. Now, what I want to factor is what's in this parentheses. I want to factor x squared minus 4x minus 12. Alright, so the a is 1, the b is -4, and the c is -12. So I'm going to set up my cross. Up top is a times c, so it's -12. And the bottom is b, -4. So I'm looking for two numbers that multiply to -12 and add to -4. So those two numbers are going to be -6 and +2. -6 times 2 is -12, -6 plus 2 is -4. So the two factors of x squared minus 4x minus 12 are x minus 6 and x plus 2. However, don't forget about this -1, you still need the GCF. So my answer would be -1 x minus 6 x plus 2, or just -x minus 6 x plus 2. Alright, don't forget the GCF out on the outside. Alright, number 6, GCF is 2, so the GCF has to come out. So I'm dividing each of these by the GCF. So 2 comes out, I'm left with x squared plus 13x minus 48. Alright, what I'm factoring now is x squared plus 13x minus 48. So a is 1, b is 13, c is -48. I will set up my cross. So up top is a times c, so -48. And the bottom is b, so +13. Alright, I'm looking for two numbers that multiply to -48 and add to -13. Those numbers are +16 and -3. So the two factors of x squared plus 13x minus 48 are x plus 16, x minus 3. Don't forget about the GCF though. The GCF was 2, so I need to include that. So my factorization for problem 6, 2, x plus 16, x minus 3. Number 7, the GCF would be 3, but it starts with a negative, so it's -3. So I'm going to factor out a -3, which means dividing each of these by -3. So I have x squared minus 5x minus 6. Alright, so now I want to factor this, x squared minus 5x minus 6. where a is 1, b is -5, and c is -6. Alright, let me use the cross. Up top is a times c, so -6, and the bottom is b, -5. Two numbers that multiply to -6 and add to -5 would be -6 and +1. So the two factors of x squared minus 5x minus 6 are x minus 6 is one of them, x plus 1 is the other. Don't forget about the GCF. The GCF was -3, so that will be on the outside. So number 7, -3, x minus 6, x plus 1. Number 8, GCF is 1, so we don't need to factor that out. So I have, it's already in standard form. So I have a is 1, b is 6, c is 9. Up top is a times c, which is 9, +9. And the bottom is b, which is +6. The two numbers that multiply to +9 and add to -6, +3 and +3. So my two factors are x plus 3 and x plus 3. There is a better way to write this. Since we're multiplying the same thing twice, we will write this as x plus 3 squared. And our factored form here would be x plus 3 squared. Alright, so when you have two of the exact same factors, it's written like this, x plus 3 squared, or it's whatever that factor is, to the second power. Alright, so we're going to do the first 10 problems of the factoring worksheet.